Hello.
Hello.
So first we will introduce the book and our target strategy for today. And after that we will read interactive way, read aloud.
Yep.
And after that we will read the book by showing the book really closely. And after that, we will introduce some small fun activities that you can do with your own kid or in your classroom.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right, is anybody here yet?
Yes. There's one.
Hello.
Hello.
Good to see you here.
As usual, we can wait for a few more people to come, like maybe two,
Yes,
three?
2 or 3.
2 or 3, and then we'll start. It's getting really cold.
I hope everyone survives
Right.
the weather.
And the weather suits for our story.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay. So we should really give a prize for people who attends
on time. Okay.
At the same.
Okay, we'll post that later.
Yeah.
Or while we are waiting, 기다리는 동안 아무거나 궁금하신 거 여쭤봐도 돼요. 한국말로. 영어로 얘기해서 어쩌면 얘기하실 수도 있는데 궁금하신 거 있으면 여쭤보셔도 돼요. 항상 들어오시는 것 같아요. 아이들을 보니까. 그쵸?
Alright. So I wonder if you enjoyed the previous book, The Hat. Today's book is from the same author, Jan Brett, The Mitten. And this book is probably used in many classrooms, and then a similar story format is rewritten with different animals or different settings, but using the same concept, the mitten.
The mitten.
So you probably, when you read the story, you probably heard it from somewhere else or read it from somewhere else, but with similar animals or a similar situation, so people could easily remember what happened in the book. So,
and like we mentioned last time, these authors, Jane and Brad, illustration is good, and also has so many clues with the story lines. I think it's very interesting and beautiful book.
Just like The Hat, remember we went through the page border, the margins, and it looks like a frame. And this book also will show pictures that gives them ideas of what the other animals might do next, or gives a clue or a question that you can pose students just by using the pictures. So we can look at that closely together.
Okay, as it's now 3:20 now, so we can just start. Okay, good.
Let's do it. All right. Hello, everyone. It's our second book of the week. We read The Hat on Monday, and Wednesday we will read The Mitten by Jan Brett. Do you see any familiar animals from the cover of the book? Of those, if you remember the first book, we read about a little hedgehog. Remember Hedgie? He's right there. And there's another animal, an owl. I see a bear. I see a little tiny little mouse. I see a little mole. I see a rabbit. I think this is a badger and a fox. So you can expect that these animals will be the characters of the story The Mitten by Jan Brett. Let's start. Okay. Okay, so I see a little frame, so you can notice that this author uses a typical frame and the illustrations. And I see a little boy looking out the window, and the frame here looks like the shape of a mitten. Okay, and we could see the setting is going to be winter. All right, yes, we can notice it's winter because the setting is full of snow. All right, and I think he's enjoying the snow. Once there was a boy named Nicky. He wanted mittens as white as snow. All right, so we know that the snow color is white. So Nicky wants a pair of mittens, but it wants to be white. What would happen if your mittens are white? Not a big deal, but what would Grandma would think? Nicky wanted mittens as white as snow, but Grandma said, if you drop a white mitten in the snow, it will be hard to find, his grandmother told him. Okay, so Grandma thought white mittens would be difficult to find if you drop it in the snow. Why? Because it's white. If it's white snow and white mittens, maybe it's easy to forget that you dropped it, you might missed it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens so much that Baba made them for him. Baba here, I think Nicky calls Grandma Baba. All right, so she is going to knit a mitten. See right there, even though she's concerned that he might lose it, Grandma is making snow white mittens for Nicky. All right, so I wonder if he could keep it in his hands and not drop it. All right, when she finished knitting, Nicky put on the mittens and went out to play. All right, so he went out to play with his mittens, but can you notice something already in the picture? He's busy going up the tree, but he already dropped a pair of mittens on the ground. Do you think he noticed it? No. It wasn't long before one mitten fell off. And who do you think will find it? Can you guess? There's our little friend. All right. So, a little mole found it and crawled inside. All right, let's visualize a little small mole crawling inside the little mitten. I wonder how he would feel. So the big book shows a picture of a large scenery of the little mole going inside the mitten. And here, Nicky, and I don't think he noticed that he only has one pair of mitten right there. It was just the right size, Mole said. So he decided to stay. I bet it's going to be very warm inside the mitten. Don't you think so?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Pretend you're a small mole and you're inside a little knit mitten. And there's going to be another animal coming by. What do you see, everyone? I see a rabbit. I see a bunny rabbit. A rabbit came hopping by. He wiggled in next to the mole. Oh, let's go inside together. Do you think it's going to be cozy? Do you think it's going to be enough room for the rabbit and mole? Maybe. It looks like they're fitting in there. All right, so rabbit and mole inside the mitten. And Nicky here still doing something else. Didn't notice that he only has one mitten. And what's the next animal? It's our little friend, Hedgie. The hedgehog might have noticed. Rabbit and mole doing something. Oh, that looks nice. And hedgehog wanted to get warm. Oof, oof, oof. Look at that little cute body trying to fit in there. Do you think he can make it in? All right. The mole and the rabbit made room for him. How nice. The rabbit and mole made room for Hedgehog to go inside. What if he gets stuck in there, just like the hat?
Yeah.
Hedgie got stuck in there. Remember the little hat and was actually a sock?
Yes.
And then all the prickles got stuck in a
Right.
sock. It might happen the same. But the little mole and the rabbit made room for him. All right. And Nikki's still looking in, and he's trying to look for something.
Mm-hmm.
And I see an owl here.
Yes.
And then I think the owl saw something.
Yes.
And what is he gonna do? And maybe some students could guess that maybe the owl is going to go in the mitten.
Together, all together.
Do you think the owl can go inside this mitten? Maybe not. He looks too big. And I don't think there's enough room here, and I think the prickles of Hedgie is already sticking out from the mitten. Oh my. But they do look cozy and warm.
Right?
The owl didn't want to be left out. He didn't want to be left out. So the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog had to move over. The little mitten was getting crowded. Oh, how can he manage to go in there? But they tried to move over, and the owl went inside the mitten. Okay. And Mickey is still having fun throwing snowballs. He's enjoying the snow, but didn't notice that he only has one mitten. Let me in. I don't want to be left out. Okay, so probably the owl, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the mole are inside the mitten. And who's our friend poking outside? It's a badger. A badger looked out of his house and saw the mitten. He climbed right in. Oh my, how can this big badger climb in this mitten? Everybody, did you notice the size of the mitten? What's happening to the mitten? It's getting bigger. Oh my, what's happening to Nikki's little small mitten? And I think the little guy is having a hard time fitting in there. All right, a badger climbed right in. And look who's coming.
Oh my.
A fox is coming. And Nikki is right nearby, but still he didn't notice. Fox is going to go in. It started to snow, so a fox pushed his way in and made himself right at home. Oof, oof, oof. How can I go in there? Okay, so he's sticking. Whose nose do you think that would be? Some students said it was a badger. Some students said it was a fox, but we can. Yeah, we're not sure, but everyone is in there. And look who's coming next.
Oh my.
It's a bear.
It's a huge bear.
It's a huge bear. Do you think he can go inside?
No.
No way. A bear is impossible. Let's find out. Okay. It's a huge bear. Then a big bear sniffed at the mitten. The animals were packed in tight. But the bear didn't care. How can he go in there? The mitten is so big. Maybe it's going to get bigger. He crawled in anyway. The mitten was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Let's visualize this part and imagine it was a small mitten. Look at the size of your hand. And the size of your hand would be just perfect for a small mitten, but it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger enough for a bear to go inside. Can you imagine that? Oh, look at Nikki. Nikki, do you think he's looking for something?
I think so.
I wonder what he's looking for. He's looking at, but he only has one mitten. And his other mitten is right in, cozy and warm for the animals. And I see a little tiny mouse.
Yes.
A little tiny mouse would be okay. But what happened to the mitten?
Oh my.
Look at the size of the mitten, everyone.
And?
And I think Nikki found out. Where's my mitten? I think he noticed that. Then a tiny tiny mouse squeezed in. Look at his footprints right there. He went inside. went on top of the bear's nose. Then a tiny mouse squeezed in and perched herself on the big bear's nose. How do they look? I don't think... Do they look comfortable?
Well,
a little bit.
Well.
Maybe they're warm enough in the snow. And Nicky, oh my goodness, where is my mitten? I wonder if he could find it. The mouse whiskers tickled the bear's nose and achoo! The bear sneezed. All the animals flew out of the mitten. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine that from this part? The little mouse perched herself on the big bear's nose and achoo! And everyone flew out. Everyone flew out after the bear sneezed. All the animals flew out of the mitten. And I think someone noticed. After all,
Okay.
Nicky! Oh my! He's going after the little mitten. Oh my, I'm gonna get my mitten. All the animals flew out. I hope they're okay. And the mitten is flying away, and all the animals are lying down on the snow. Poof! Oof! 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 Oh, well, the snow is a little bit, soft and smooth, so they'll be okay.
But still,
Nicky,
it's really cold, right?
That's right. Oh, they might have missed the mitten. Nicky saw his mitten sail up into the air. Why was it sailing? Because the bear
sneezed,
and it flew away just like the animals.
Right.
All right. It's a small mitten, but look at the size. Uh-oh. And someone's watching from the window. From the window, Baba watched Nicky catch his mitten. "See, Baba," he called to her. "I have both my mittens." Oh, well, yes, he has both of his mittens, but probably Baba Grandma saw it. Saw what happened, what's happened. And Baba smiled. Well, he found it anyway. And all the animals probably went back to their home, went back their burrow, their holes, and probably going back to sleep. And what do you think happened to the mitten? Can you imagine the size, the different size? What in the world happened to your mitten? I thought the last page was hilarious, and I don't know if you knew about it or not, but we can know what happened because we read the story.
Hey.
Yes, the end. And
The
that
end.
was the story.
Good.
The mitten.
Okay.
And it's easily read for your students, so you can see how the mitten size changes and which animals went inside. So I hope you enjoyed the story.
Very good.
Okay.
Add some